Mahathir Mohamad served as Malaysian Prime Minister from 1981 to 2003. But last year, at the age of 92, he came out of retirement and was re-elected. His opponent was accused of siphoning off Chinese money connected to Belt and Road contracts. Mahathir called China the new colonizer and Belt and Road projects predatory.
Everything is imported, mostly from China. Workers were from China. All the parts and the material were from China. That means that Malaysia doesn't get any benefit at all.
The original contracts called for Chinese-built ports, Chinese-built pipelines, a $20 billion Chinese-built rail link, and the Malacca Gateway, a Chinese-financed development project on the Malacca Strait, through which almost all Chinese oil flows. Mahathir accused the Chinese of taking advantage of a corrupt government.
The whole thing was done in a hurry by the previous government without due regard for the interests of Malaysia.
In Belt and Road deals, countries can lose sovereignty and China can gain assets. Sri Lanka had to hand over a port when it couldn't afford debt payments to a Chinese bank. To build this Belt and Road railroad with Chinese loans, Kenya agreed to apply Chinese law inside Kenya and give up East Africa's largest port if it couldn't repay its debts. And to pay for South America's largest dam, Ecuador is selling 80% of its most valuable asset, oil, to China at a discount.
When you start borrowing huge sums of money and asking foreign countries to develop, and then you cannot pay, then obviously you are going to lose that part of the country.
That warning has been echoed by the United States' most senior officials. The U.S. argues China's version of Belt and Road fosters corruption. The state-owned China Communications Construction Company alone has been accused of bribery across 4 countries. The U.S. also warns China's ports could one day host Chinese warships. Last year, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo warned that could lead to a Chinese empire.
When China shows up with bribes to senior leaders in countries in exchange for infrastructure projects, then this idea of a treasury-run empire build is something that I think would be bad for each of those countries and certainly presents risk to American interests.
What's your response to that criticism, that the Belt and Road Initiative contracts are debt traps and aren't transparent?
Chinese companies won the bidding, and other foreign companies did not win. And the reason is simple. Foreign companies and workers are not as hardworking as the Chinese.
But don't those Chinese companies get advantages because they're protected by the Chinese state?
We do not make investments blindly. We Chinese are not stupid.